There is nothing worse than making progress only to hit a huge dump in motivation and then don't feel like continuing for a little while. You burn away weeks of your life and then only to wait for it to come back up to the surface to feel energized and ready to go. It's an extremely frustrating thing. It was something that was frustrating me for a little while until I implemented a strategy that it totally changed the way I make progress, and it's also adjusted the way I perceive results and outcome and goals all together, and has done wonderful things for the clients that I showed. So I'm so excited to share with you. The first thing to reflect on is, as a high achiever, something that you've picked for yourself in the future, something you dream about, you get emotional over when you think about having. Understand that, is it something that you actually feel brings your life joy and excitement and this feeling of deep sense of purpose and service to others? So, in other words, does this bring light? Does it lift you? Does it fill you with energy? Another way to look at it is, this of ultimate service to others? Why this is so important is because, speaking from personal experience, oftentimes, if the initial thing you grab onto as a sense of motivation and drive to reach for the dream you have in your mind is vanity metrics, hedonistic ideas, so girls, money, status, power, all those things at first may feel like a good drive, and it is a good drive for a little while. However, it's going to be built on a very, very shaky, false, empty foundation. And you won't realize it right then and there. But as time goes on, years can go by. Then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you say, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't want to do it anymore. And then it's very difficult at that point in time because you've built something up, possibly. Maybe you've built a business. Maybe you've built a career. Maybe you've built a group of friends that you think, well, it's gone so far now, I might as well just stay in it. So it's very important that you evaluate your vision in terms of, does it fill you with energy, excitement, clean energy, not vengeance, resentment, power, nothing like that? Does it also feel, is it of service to other people, ultimate service? Now, the way to also think of this second one is money sort of like a nice bonus, right? It shouldn't be the number one thing you go for. It's important, but is it sort of a when I do this act, if I get money in return as an exchange, it's icing on the cake, but it's really the service I'm doing that is really making me fulfilled. It's very important. And just as a personal example, when I first started teaching the Rule of Three method to clients, I actually ran it for free for many clients. Ran it for free, the whole thing, and it takes a couple months to actually run from A to Z. But for me, it was just something that every time I did it, it just gave me such sense of meaning and purpose and meaning to my life, and I loved it. And I found, for me, the money that comes after is great. It's fantastic, and it's welcomed, of course, and it's important. But the number one thing is it an ultimate act of service? Does it fill you with energy? Light is a way I like to describe it. Does it fill you with light? I also have a newsletter that I send out every 2 weeks. If you go ahead and subscribe to that on my website, I send out bi-weekly emails regarding anything on these topics. I go more into details. So if you want to take that next step further, just go ahead and head over to the website and input your information. But let's move on to the next step now, which is understanding the balance of how you can actually sustainably grow constantly without any of those huge dips. And the secret lies in the balance between motivation and discipline. When you think about motivation, what do you feel it is? And for most people, motivation is this just instant hit of energy and excitement towards what you're doing. Or maybe you didn't have an idea in the first place, but something just comes to you. It hits you and you're ready to go. So it's an instant hit of energy. You can also look at it as a sense of enthusiasm and hope and belief and something that just sparked interest in you. However, one thing to understand in the way you want to interpret motivation, you can look at two ways. Number one, it's a spark. It ignites action, but it doesn't continue action. So, in other words, if you're a car, it's sort of like when you start the engine, there's a spark that gets the pistons firing. That's essentially what it is. It's just the spark. But common with motivation, when you get hit with it, you get a nice little uphill of energy. Like I said, energy, excitement, enthusiasm. However, if you just rely on it, starts here, and then all of a sudden you go, uh oh, what's going on? What the heck is happening? And back down here you go. Sometimes you go back to baseline, sometimes you go below baseline. Either way, you get this huge swing effect. But why is that? Why do you get that swing? Because if all you wait for is just that hit, that initial gut energy, it'll give you that lift. However, it's not something that can actually sustain and progress for months at a time. It won't do that. It's just going to send you back down, and then you'll end up staying here until you get another hit. Maybe you watch a couple videos, maybe you take a energy drink or something, I don't know, and then it sends you back up to the top again, only to crash back down. So how do you balance this out? How do you get rid of this sort of altogether? Well, the way you can balance it is by bringing in discipline. Now, discipline isn't me saying, you know, taking crazy ice baths and doing things that are very painful and gruesome every single day, although that will harden you. But what I mean by discipline is you need a steady burn done every single day with motivation just coming and going every once in a while. In other words, discipline is the engine. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the engine that will actually keep this vehicle moving. And so the way you're going to apply this in practice is pick a vision. And if you are subscribed to the newsletter, you're going to get every once in a while one of my strategies, the 3-2-1 principle, which is breaking down your visions into tiny goals that actually give you constant progress. But for now, let's say you just pick something. Let's say you want to get good at marketing. Maybe you have a business, you want to really improve on that angle. It's an area you lack. Well, how do you approach this balancing motivation discipline? You pick on a daily basis 1 to 2 minimum required actions in relation to this skill. So you can look at your calendar and your daily calendar, take off blocks of time of at least 1 to 2 hours. And these 1 to 2 hours are a non-negotiable. It's something you will have to do. Now, this is why, if we go circle back to what's the reason why you're doing all this, if you have it for the right reasons, it shouldn't be too bad. Now, obviously, you're going to have moments where you're not feeling as energized, you're feeling down, maybe life wasn't going that well in that period of your life, but for the most part, you want to try to keep to that 1 to 2 hours per day target. Now, is 1 to 2 hours that much? No, it's not. Like, in the grand scheme of things, the more hours you put, the better the output within a certain within reason. However, the magic of this is that you're building the muscle and the habit to stay consistent, maintaining focus. And if you stay on track with that, you're going to feel progress happen. Motivation will come in every once in a while, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. It's going to come in, and you're going to get that same hit of energy. Now, what's really important is, as you've been doing all this, you've been raising your baseline of work ethic. So instead of it being here, perhaps it's over here, because you're doing 1 to 2 hours every day versus before you don't really do much. Maybe do 1 hour every 3 days or 4 days, whatever it was. You've raised your baseline. So when motivation comes in, you can only get so motivated. So it'll give you that extra little lift. Maybe you'll put in 4 hours, 5 hours that day. And I tell people, maximize when it comes in. Because just like when you're driving a vehicle, let's say you're driving a standard, and you push it to sixth gear, you can't push it there, hit the gas, redline the damn thing all the way to your destination. It's not going to handle it very well. And so periodically bringing it back down to fourth gear for a steady drive will be the best sustainable approach to preserve the vehicle, which, metaphorically speaking, is going to be your health, your mental health. So as you build up your base level of discipline through consistent work, 1 to 2 hours per day, when that motivation spikes, it's amazing. It'll come in, and you'll make way more progress. You'll kill 2-3 weeks. You'll get all the tasks done. It's amazing. But then what's going to happen is that crash won't be coming back down to here. it's going to come back down to the base level that you've already set. And when you've set that base level of 1 to 2 hours per day, guess what? There's no more burning away 2, 3, 4 days, weeks, months at a time, waiting for it to come back up again. You go back down to base level and off you go. Now imagine throughout your year that happening. You have your baseline, then you get that hit of motivation, you take advantage of it, maximize it, then come back down to base level again. And just rinse and repeat that. But your number one foundation, the way you're going to be moving forward, is going to be through your discipline. And it's not going to be through the motivation. Welcome it. Whenever it comes by, it's totally okay. But for the most part, stick with the discipline, and you're going to find so much progress happening. It's going to stack. And if you watch other videos about loop patterns that I've talked about, you're going to build new stories. New stories of what? You get things done. You're getting things done. You're feeling progress. And the more progress you make, you're going to start to stack on that confidence. And that fear, the fear that it might not work out, the fear that you're going to circle back into procrastination will slowly drift away. It'll rear its head, right? Again, my main target is people who want to do a lot in their life, but they feel they're limited by fear, and the fear of failure in particular. Now, it's going to come by. It's going to come back. It comes back to me every once in a while. But as you develop the muscle, of consistency, that will become your confidence, because you're going to look back for the last year and say, I have done constant work towards the vision that I wish to have in my life. And if you look back and all you can think about is the 1 to 2 hours you put every single day, the consistency, the focus that you've applied, and how every time you get that spike of motivation, it doesn't come crashing down to zero. It goes back to base level, allowing you to continue working consistently, feeling that, oh, well, I changed it, feeling the sustainable growth happening for you every single day. That's going to stack new stories on top of itself. If you guys found this helpful and you really want to take it to that next level, go ahead and click that link below. It'll send you to my website, and you can do two things. Number one, you can sign up to the newsletter where you're going to get more in-depth strategies on my Rule of Three method to overcome the fear of failure for high achievers. And if you just want to take it to the next level and you're absolutely just done and you want to make a change right now, scroll all the way to the bottom of that page and you're going to see the application form. Fill it out and I'll get back to you. We can start coordinating some dates. I look forward to working with you. It's my absolute pleasure and purpose. And so I look forward to meeting you guys.